Hello and welcome to a wonderful Tuesday morning. Today we're going to talk with Noemia, my aunt, about what pregnancy traditions look like in Mozambique. So, if you want to start by introducing a tiny bit of background about why we're talking about this in Mozambique.
Okay. I'm Noemia, and I'm an auntie of this beautiful lady right here. So today's video is basic to talk about, the general of experience, how is to be pregnant in Mozambique. I'm in America now, and then being a Mozambican, of course, it's different. We do things differently. So I'm gonna just explain and talk about my a specific experience. Every month was just a new thing, and then for the first, and it's weird because the first time I find out that I was pregnant, that's when my sickness
Yeah.
started, and I didn't have anything before I found out that I was pregnant. So I was like, what's going on?
What is this?
What is this? And so for the 3 months, I felt all kind of sickness. I couldn't smell certain food. I couldn't eat certain food. I couldn't stand even, like a simple breakfast, eggs and toast. So and then I had to figure out like what can I eat without making me feel sick.
Yeah.
So that was another, thing to process, and to figure out like if I eat this, is this gonna go down or not? Am I gonna throw up? And I don't want to feel sick because that's like nobody wants to feel sick. So then for the 3 months, I struggled. I had all kind of sickness, and then my husband had so much patience. It's a blessing for me. But my pregnancy, after the 3 months, everything was beautiful. I would say like each situation is different. So for every woman, okay, there's some women that they get sick, and for the first month, second, and then everything's fine. Or there's other ones that they
Nothing
don't
at all.
feel nothing at all. And then there's other ones that through their whole pregnancy they will just feel sick until they have a baby. So that's why I'm saying every person is different. So my experience was that in the first 3 months I struggled, and I didn't have too much help. I didn't understand a lot of stuff. I had to learn each day. You know, I had to, learn how my body was looking. And the first, second, third months, like watching my belly just growing and growing and growing. So everything, just affects your emotion. And then you feel like, okay, am I gonna have, stretch marks, and everything just like new for you. And then but at the same time it's beautiful. The feeling is just amazing. Just the feeling of having a human being inside of you growing, and then you can feel every beat of that little heart. You can feel every movement, kicking, and all that emotion makes you forget about all that pain, everything that you're going through. And then you just enjoy every moment that you can. And then when you can't enjoy because you're sick, that's okay, that's normal. That's normal, so you don't have to feel bad about yourself. And then I had to, like I said, learn everything, learn every moment, every feeling that I was having. And then, so, it's different culture because I had how can I say this? I was privileged to have my husband with me every step of my pregnancy, so that helps me a lot. And then I grew up with my grandparents, and my grandparents at the time, they were old, and then they couldn't do much, and I was living far from them, like an hour, 2 hours away from them. So it was just me and my husband. We had to deal with everything. We had to cry together, to laugh together, to walk together, like all of those things. So and you learn how to get closer, and then even though he wasn't pregnant, but it felt like he was pregnant because every emotion that I had, he was there to support me, to like listen how I'm feeling, and then asking me if I need any help and all kind of things. But I would say, like it's not an easy process. It's not something that you're gonna say, oh, I'm gonna have a baby, and then in 9 months, it's gonna be out, and I'm, that's a long process. That's the pregnancy is just the beginning, and then after the pregnancy, that's another thing. But my pregnancy, the first one, like I said, was my experience. I googled everything. I had to stop googling everything because I got scared.
It becomes worrisome.
Yes, and then it's overwhelming because everything that you see on the internet, everything that you see on the videos, is just a lot. Is a lot. So you can't just go there and expecting that you're gonna get all the information that you need from that. I feel like if I had somebody to go through my pregnancy with me, helping me to understand what's going on with me, what's going on with my body, every step would be much easier for me. I would say not that it wasn't, but I think having someone helping you just to tell you every day,
to process
and say, hey, you know what, it's okay, your body's gonna change. that's that's a process, that's something that's gonna happen and it's gonna go away. So you just have to digest that, and then and try to understand that it's just this moment, and I just have to try to enjoy and love myself the way I am. So I think that was pretty much my first experience with my pregnancy, and my baby boy came out, and then loving at the first time, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And when I had a C-section, and because my baby's head wasn't facing down, so he was facing up. So the doctor said, oh, you know what, you almost 9 months, he should have already faced down to be able to come out, have a normal birth. But because of that, you have to have a baby, right now. That was like right now. And then I'm like, what? And so through all the process, like having the baby, and I was induced from the from the my stomach to the bottom, all that also is a new thing that you feel, and you just like, you there, you excited, you scared, all the emotions comes to you, like, is everything gonna be okay, is my baby gonna be okay, am I gonna be okay? So but at the end, you know what, we just have to trust that everything's gonna be okay. And it was okay. It was okay. It's just a normal thing that God put there for us, and then all the women have to go through it. If you gonna have a baby, this is the process, this is the route. It's not gonna be easy for each woman, for every woman. Each situation is different, but you just have to love it, and then accept it, that this is what is going on with me, and then I'm gonna do it, and you can do it, we can do it, we're strong, right?
And being able to recognize too that births around the world look, yes, different in a lot of ways, but very similar in a lot of ways too. So also normalizing the fact that even if you're not from the same culture as somebody, you more than likely have a similar story. And being able to work through that.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think the place, the time, it matters. I think it's just like, you're just pregnant. And then it's the same thing everywhere. It's the same thing in all the world. If you're pregnant, you're pregnant. So you're gonna go through the same symptoms or different symptoms. So
And then I did want to touch on real quick. So your first pregnancy went well overall, and how did that compare with your second pregnancy for the twins?
Okay, so I would say that the second pregnancy was much easier, and in the way of, I knew what to expect, and then the expectation helped me to go through my pregnancy from the beginning until the
Yeah.
end, because I knew that my first months, this is how I'm gonna feel. The second month, this is how I'm gonna feel. The third month, this is how it's gonna feel.
Having
And then,
an idea. Or...
yeah, I had an idea of, okay, my body's gonna be this way again. You know, I will have stretch marks. I will be, you know, gain weight. I will.
Yeah.
So all those things, I knew that, you know, it's coming. So my mind was already, you know, ready to, you know, receive that. And then also I would say I knew what to expect, but not everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Because again, every pregnancy is different.
Every pregnancy is different.
And you hope like, oh, okay, well, this will be exactly the same. No.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So I would say for the first 3 months was the same, because
Yeah.
I was sick for the first 3 months, like the first one.
Yeah.
And then after the 3 months, everything went back to normal. I could eat anything, and then, you know, I could enjoy more every day and all that. But then we find out that we're having twins.
Yeah.
So,
So that changes something.
so that changed something, you know, because it wasn't one baby, it was 2 babies coming out. So that was like a shock for
Yeah.
us, you know. But, you know, then we find out that in my husband's side, there is twins running in. And then in my family as well, there's twins. So we're like, okay,
Makes sense.
makes sense.
But also.
But also still, you know, this is gonna be a lot. And then my husband was like, oh no, baby, 2. The doctor's like, well, there's 1 baby, and then there's a baby number 2. And then we're like, what?
Yeah.
No. And you know, but we were happy.
Yeah.
We were so happy, you know. And so my second pregnancy was expected, you know, like in the terms of knowing what's coming. But every month was a surprise, because I'm a small person, and then having 2 babies growing inside of me, that was another thing, because I
Yeah.
felt my body stretching every way of
Yeah.
my, you know, on my sides, on my, you know,
Well, you're having double what you had before.
yeah. And so we had to go to the doctor more often, because they had to check, you know, the twins were identical, so they had to make sure that they will be, you know, they're okay, they're both getting enough proteins and all that. But then they find out that the baby number 1 was getting more protein than the baby number 2. So so I went through my you know, first 5 months, everything was okay, and the babies were fine, and they were just, you know, monitoring them. And then on the 6 months, everything was fine. The doctor was happy with everything. He recommended me to walk more, and then just exercise. But, you know, it wasn't easy, because, you know, even to get up of the bed, my husband had to push me sometimes, like, oh, get up, you know, because it was like just to roll from one side to
Yeah.
another. That's, you know, another thing. And then on the 7 months, at the end of 7 months, you know, I start to feel pain, contractions, and I didn't know what contraction felt like,
Right, because you had a C-section.
because
the
I
first
had
time.
and then I had no, you know, pain, like the baby's ready to come out, or nothing like that. It was, I went to the doctor for my appointment, and then the doctor said, oh, the baby hasn't turned, you know, his face down, so you're going in to have a baby.
Right.
So that was it.
So
And
now
then-
it's a new
So
experience.
now it's a new experience. So with the baby number 2, I start to feel some pain from my back to the front. You know, my stomach was just like getting tighter and tighter. And my husband like, okay, I think you're gonna have the baby. I'm like, no, the babies are not ready to come out. It's 7 months, you know. And he's like, well, you having symptoms of, you know,
Yeah, labor.
labor. And then I'm like, okay, he's like, okay, I'm gonna just check how long the contraction is coming and going. And then it was just different, you know, like 5 minutes, you know, 2 minutes, and then all that. So then we decided to go to the doctor, and that was another process, because the experience was like, okay, the babies are gonna survive or not gonna survive, you know. They're not ready to,
Uncertainty.
they're not ready. So we got really scared, and, you know, we had to make some decisions to be able to just save the babies.
Mhm.
And then, but like I said, it was different,
Yeah.
you know. And then even with my body, I would say it was different. With my baby boy, my skin got darker.
Mhm.
I had more pimples on my face, you know, and then I was like, okay, this is not me. No,
Yeah.
this is not me. But again, you know, you learn how to love yourself. You
Yeah.
learn how to not, you know, accept yourself the way it is, because you know you're going through a pregnancy. And then with my girls, I looked beautiful. You
You're
know,
glowing.
I was like glowing. I was like, you know what, this is me. I was running, jumping ropes. Like some people like, how can you, you know, jump ropes? You're pregnant. I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm feeling
I'm
good.
just feeling
I'm just
it.
feeling good. And then, you know, we will go
Yeah.
to the beach, swim, and then do activities with our baby boy.
Yeah.
And you know, I had a lot of energy. And but then, you know,
Yeah.
with this, when it was 7 months, I started to feel more tired and all that. You know, my stomach was like double the size. And so all that period until the 7 months, you know, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I was, you know, a beautiful pregnant woman. And I loved myself. I
Yeah.
loved the way I looked. I loved how my stomach looked. Not that I didn't love when my baby
Yeah.
boy, when I was pregnant with him, because you know it was a new experience.
Yeah.
But with the second one, you know, I knew what was coming.
Yeah.
And then it's
You
like
could love yourself more.
I could love myself more, you know. And I was like, you know what, this is me. And I'm loving myself, you know. So I enjoyed it every day.
Yeah.
I had a lot of energy. I could get up, you know, do my chores at home and do my work, and then still, you know, have a play dates with my kids, take
Yeah.
my baby boy to the beach, you know, all those things. So it's just a different, you know, like from your first pregnancy has, you know, coming to just figure out and find out everything from, you know, from the beginning. You know, you don't know what to expect. And then when you have the second one, you're like, you know what, this is
Yeah.
gonna be easy, you know.
It's
Yes.
still different, but
Yeah.
you have more confidence in
You
yourself.
have more
Yeah.
confidence in yourself. You like, okay, I can do this. I know what I can't do. I knew my limitations.
Yeah.
Because on my first one I thought I could, you know, I could fit in my
In your shorts.
And the shorts, and I'm like,
That ain't
no,
working.
this is not working. You know, so I had to figure it out. I had to use most of my we call the capulana, which is a wrap that every African women, or most of the African women wear when they're pregnant, or if they do other stuff.
Yeah.
So so it was a quite experience,
Yeah.
you know. And yeah, I think it was beautiful.
And how do you think that having this experience in Mozambique and, you know, the aspects of traveling to doctors, like were you close to the doctors or were you further away, or what did that look like?
Okay, so where I lived, it was let's say about 2 hours from the doctor at the capital city. That if the roads are good.
Yeah.
If it's not raining, if it's not, you know, if they're not doing anything or working on the roads, because the whole road was sand and
Yeah.
muddy, and if it rains, and so we had to plan
Very well.
very well. And then also we lived close to South Africa. We
Yeah.
were at border with South Africa, and then we could choose to go to South Africa, which was about 20 minutes drive to the border, and then we cross the border and go to the doctor, or we go to Maputo. So
Yeah.
most of my pregnancy, for my first son, we chose to be in Maputo,
Okay.
in Mozambique. So we would drive, you know, the doctor would say, okay, I want to see you at this day, and then we like, okay, we have to go at this day. So we had to actually plan, because it would take us 2 hour drive or 6 hour drive.
Yeah, you
So,
didn't know.
We didn't know, and then the roads were rough, you know, like bumpy.
And you're pregnant.
And I'm pregnant, and I'm like telling my husband, you better make sure you drive slow. And then he's like, oh, if I drive slow, we're gonna get there tomorrow, you know. So yeah, so but he you know, he had to take it easy, and then
Yeah.
we made it. You
Yeah.
know, we made it to Maputo, and then we'll see the doctor, and then we had to do everything we needed to do at the city before we go back, because we didn't know when we're gonna
Yeah.
go back to the city. So that was the option. Either
Yeah.
we go to South Africa or we go to Maputo.
Yeah.
So my first pregnancy was, you know, in Maputo, and then the second pregnancy I had to go to South Africa because you know, my husband also he had um, some medical things that he had to attend, and then it was better to do in South Africa. So we would just do back and forth to Maputo, South Africa, Maputo, South Africa, and then so and it was fine. It was fine.
Yeah.
It wasn't that, you know, difficult, and it wasn't, well, it was difficult because of the roads, you know, and we
Right.
had to plan everything. But once we got there, you know,
Then
we
it was
just
fine.
yeah, it was fine, and we just did everything that we need to do. We go to the doctors, we shop, and then we go back home. Yeah. So
Awesome.
that was, you know, that was an experience. It
Yeah.
was an experience. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate all this information and being able to share more about your story. Of course, I've known some of it,
Yeah.
but it's good to hear more about it,
Mhm.
because I think it's important to talk about how things can look so similar and so different depending on the culture that we're in.
Yeah. That's
So,
right.
we are finishing out this pregnancy traditions in Mozambique interview, and then next we will be doing a postpartum traditions interview. Uh, so, I will look forward to talking to you guys then.
Bye.